Hi guys, so if you're on this channel because you are trying to bake macarons for the first time, or you're just trying to make another attempt, this is the perfect video for you. Because a couple of weeks ago I was looking for a perfect macaron recipe to post on my channel for you guys, and I tried baking them, and guys, like, I baked about 4 batches and made so many mistakes. So I decided to make a video for you guys so you guys can know what to do and what not to do when you're making macarons, because it is not just about the recipe for this babies, it is about the method. Okay, so first things first, you want to measure properly. See this rubbish I'm doing? Don't do that. Like, you want to pour your ingredients into a bowl and then dip your measuring cup into it and measure. Don't do this lazy girl method I'm doing, like pouring the icing sugar into the measuring cup, like while the measuring cup is, you're not going to measure properly that way. Like, it is going to be a little over or a little short. So, but for macarons though, it is not about the recipe. Usually it is about the method. That was what I learned, because I did about 4 different batches. It is about how you do it, not just what you're putting inside. Okay, so once you measure that, regardless of what recipe you're using, that's why I'm giving you this these lessons. So you want to pulse it in your food processor, regardless of how smooth you think it is. What this does is it helps you to aerate the dry ingredients, and at the same time, like, it helps you to blend it well together. But if you do not have a food processor, what you want to do, there's no problem if you don't have a food processor. You can always use a blender as long as it is dry and there is no water inside. But if you don't have a blender and you don't have a food processor, make sure you sieve it like 2 to 3 times. You can still sieve it maybe 4 times if you want, or if you have the time. Make sure you sieve it. What you want to do is you're aerating the particles of the flour and sugar, like you're putting air into it, so that way it makes more fluffy macarons and stuff. So, and that's what you want to do, and that way it will be easier to combine with your meringue when you're done. So don't like sieve it just once, sieve it once or twice, like sieve it like 3 to 4 times. That helps you aerate it. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is you want to make your meringue. And when you're making your meringue, you want to make sure your mixing bowl is totally clean. There is no grease, or there is no oil, or there is no water. Like, you wipe it down so it can be like sparkling clean. That way your meringue will form really well and it will have stiff peaks. So guys, another mistake I made when I was making my meringue was I poured all of the sugar in at once. You don't want to do that. You want to put the sugar in bits, like take a tablespoon and be putting it 1 tablespoon at a time. What it does is that it helps you not have like lumps of sugar in your meringue. Like, you won't have lumps of sugar that will settle at the bottom of the meringue. Plus, it will make the meringue firmer and stiffer, and it will give you like stiffer peaks and everything. So that is another thing you want to look out for. You don't want to just pour all of your sugar. Like, I like lazy girl method because I like things to be fast and easy. Okay, so once you whip, this is a soft peak, and this is not what you're looking for. Let me show you guys. See how droopy it is. You don't want it to be that droopy. I know it looks like it's okay, it's fine. This would be okay if you were making a Swiss meringue buttercream, this kind of peak. But you're making a meringue, you're making like meringue cookies, French macarons, sorry, not meringue cookies. Okay, what you want to do is you want to make sure it has stiff peaks, not a soft droopy thing. So if it is at this point, you still need to mix a little bit more because it is not ready. So mix for a while longer, depending on what kind of mixer you're using. Different kind of mixers have like different rotating time, which gives different mixing time basically. So what you want to have is this very stiff peak. See how stiff it is and how like thick the meringue looks. That's what you're looking for. You want it to be thick like that. That way it will give you like enough volume for you to mix your almond flour into. So now that your meringue is ready, the next thing you want to do is to fold it together with the icing sugar and the almond flour that you already pulsed and sieved. Okay, so the next mistake you don't want to make is to dump it all at once. What this does is it doesn't give you control over what you're mixing, because now, like, you can't be able to like control, or it just makes it a lot harder to mix, and that way it's easier for you to undermix or easier for you to overmix. So what you want to do is pour it in batches, so you can start to pour it in 3 parts. Like, pour like 1/3 of the meringue first into the bowl, Some people also pour like the dry ingredients into the into the meringue first, but I think it's better for you to, like, first of all, put like 1/3 of the meringue into the bowl of the flour and stuff, and then stir it together until it is mixed, and then take 1/3 again and pour it, and then stir it together, and then take 1/3 again. That way you have more control. Like, you won't tend to like put so much muscle or put so much energy in letting it like combine together. I don't know if you guys get. So it will be easier for you not to overmix or for you to undermix, if that makes sense. Okay, but do you know me now? I did the lazy girl method and poured everything and just started to mix, Okay, so while I'm doing this, guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please pity your girl and subscribe to this channel, and please give me a thumbs up, because I'm really putting out great content for you guys. And if you haven't watched my doodly videos, like, I have awesome doodly videos for cake decorators, so just click on the link above. You're going to see the link to watch those. They're so amazing and so awesome, and a lot of people enjoy them. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is not to be in a hurry. I think for me, the reason why I was in a hurry at this point was because, like, I put everything at once, so it wasn't mixing fast enough, and I felt like, I beg, will I sleep here? And like, I was just trying to stir it. At a point, I kind of stopped folding, because what you want to do is you want to do like folding method. You just don't want to be stirring it as if you're trying to make pap or custard. Yeah, so if you fold it one bit at a time, it will make it easier to fold and you won't be in a hurry. Okay, so number 8 is the piping test. So I'm going to show you how to know if you undermixed or if you overmixed or it is just enough. First things first, you have to take a piping bag and then put your piping tip into it so that you can like pour your batter into it and then start to pipe. And first of all, I'm going to be baking on the silicone mat, and I'm going to be showing you guys the difference between baking on the silicone mat as well as baking on just like a cake tray and a parchment paper. So the first one I'm going to be using right now is a silicone mat. Okay, so guys, this is the piping test I was talking about, and we're going to be piping on our silicone mat. So when you pipe, you want to lift and twist. Yeah, you want to lift and twist. At this point, I wasn't lifting and twisting because I was just piping. And it was creating a nipple on top. Yeah, but that's not even a problem if your batter is well mixed. Let me give you an example. If your batter is well mixed, yeah, this nipple on top, yeah, even though there are nipples on top while you pipe, it will quickly settle into the meringue and you won't see it into the cookie. I don't know if you understand. Yeah, there will be nipple on top with the way I'm piping it like this, but after about maybe 1 minute, it will settle in and you won't see the nipple anymore. So if you see this nipple, it means your batter is undermixed and you should mix it a little bit more. Yeah, you don't have to add anything to it, just stir it a little bit more, maybe like 4 or 5 folds, a little bit more. That's all. I thought maybe this nipples will disappear after a while. That was I was eating it on the floor. I eat it so hard, but it still didn't disappear. So what you want to do is, if you get this nipple, it's not going to disappear even if you heat it from the ceiling. You just have to stir. So once you pipe 1 or 2 and the nipple doesn't disappear within a minute, stir your batter a little bit more. So number 9, what I did was, okay, I wanted to stir my batter a little bit more, but I decided to add a little red. Yeah, so what I did, you don't have to add another color. I just wanted like a different color. You guys get? Okay, so just fold it a little bit more, not too much so you don't overfold. Just fold it just slightly and then put it in your piping bag, and then that's all basically. So if you get nipples on your meringue cookies, why do I keep saying meringue cookies, on your macarons, it means it is underfolded. I want you to take pay attention to this. Can you see there are nipples on top, but they disappear as soon as they are made? I don't know, just look at this very well. That's what you want. So if you pipe it and the nipples disappear, yeah, to form nipples, if you don't pipe it well, but the nipples should disappear almost immediately. And once you tap it, most of it will go away. But I want you to pay attention to the yellow ones. The nipples didn't go away, even though the red ones have no nipples. So what you want to do is, if you have nipples on your macarons, you want to stir it again. Just stir. You don't have to add anything to it, just stir. Okay, so our first batch of nippled macarons are ready. Oh god. Okay, so I'm going to put the next one into it, and you want to make sure the surface is dry. Yeah, this is the 10 tip. You want to make sure you rest it for at least 1 hour so that the surface can be dry, that when you touch it, nothing will stick to your finger, and then you bake. That's what gives you the fit of the macaron. So for every macaron, you rest it for 1 hour or more, so like the surface can be dry. Okay, so I want you guys to pay attention to this, because this is the next tip. These macarons look done because that was the amount of time they were supposed to be in the oven for. They were supposed to be there for about 18 minutes, but they were not done, because when it's done, when you pick it up, it won't stick to your whatever you baked it on. I don't know if you can see. If it's sticking like this, don't continue picking it up like me. Just throw it back in the oven for maybe another 2 to 5 minutes, or less. If it's sticking, don't like forcefully pick it up. It is not ready. Even if it comes up easily like this, like it's going to have like that space in the middle. So if it like does this, just stop. But in my case, I didn't stop. I just kept picking them up. See, it means it's not done. How you know it's done? You need to pick it up, and then it will pick up easily. Yeah. Okay. So if you're picking up your macarons and your mat looks so rough and so dirty because like the macaron bits and pieces are sticking to it, like it means your macarons are not done, and you need to put it in a little longer. And another thing I noticed was the fact that if you bake with silicone mat, it takes a little longer to bake than if you were baking with a parchment paper. Maybe because the pan underneath the parchment paper conducts a little bit more heat to the cookies, maybe. But if you're baking with this, you want to add like 2 or 3 more minutes to your baking time according to the recipe you are using. Okay, so if your mat looks as messy, your macarons are not done. Okay, so the macarons we put in the second time are done. The one we did, the nippled and the non-nippled one. So I want you guys to notice that some have nipples and some do not. And you want it to leave it to cool down for about maybe a minute before you kind of try to touch it. Otherwise, it will crumble in your hands. If you don't leave it to cool down, when you lift it, it will stick as if it's not done, but it is actually done. So leave it for about a minute before you try to lift it, and see how neatly it comes up. If you leave it for a minute and lift it, comes up so easily and so neatly and so perfectly. Those macarons are okay, except that they have nipples, but if you don't mind the nipples, fine. But if you want to make perfect macarons, just watch this video and know what not to do. So thank you guys, and I'll see you in my next tutorial. I hope this video was useful to you. Bye.